Our I can statement is I can multiply and divide integers involving story problems. All right, our first problem. A submarine descended 576 feet over a period of 8 minutes. If the submarine descended at a constant rate, what is the change of depth per minute? So here's a little picture to illustrate. So here's our starting point, and we take 8 minutes to dive down 576 feet. Now the question is, how far have we traveled after 1 minute? Okay, so if we're going to take this 576 and we're going to divide it up into 8 equal chunks, I've already given you a hint there. We are going to use division as my operation for this problem. Okay, and I already drew in my picture, and the keyword descended helps us to note that this is going to be a negative number, negative 576. And I'm dividing that by 8 minutes. Okay? Now, I know that a negative divided by a positive will give me a negative answer. And now I can use long division. And I'm just going to divide the numbers without the signs because we've already figured out the signs. So 8 goes into 57 7 times because 7 times 8 is 56. I take the difference and then I bring down the 6. 8 goes into 16 2 times. So my answer is going to be negative 72, and I want to make sure I include my units. Since it's asking me about the change in depth, feet are going to be my units here. So negative 72 feet. So there's my... All right. Number 2, a driver loses 25 points for each rule violation. What integer represents the change in points after 4 rule violations? I want to point out that this statement here, what integer, is a key phrase to help you to remember that sign is important. Okay? So a driver loses 25 points after 1 rule violation, but we want to know the change in points after 4 rule violations. So if we want 4 groups of negative 25, we are going to multiply. Okay, so that's our operation here. Negative times positive is going to give me a negative. 25 times 4 gives me 100. And my units here are points because it says what integer represents the change in points. So that's what we're looking for. So negative 100 points is the answer for number 2. This is a challenge problem. It says the value of a computer is given by the expression 2,000 plus negative 200t, where t is the time in years. So first it says to complete the table. Okay, so we can evaluate the expression by plugging in the number of years in for t. Okay, so let's try it with year 1. So for year 1, I am going to have 2,000 plus negative 200 times 1, which is negative 200. Okay? I have 2,000, and then I have negative 200, so I'm going to end up with 1,000, 1,800 after 1 year. Okay, let's try it after 2 years. So it's going to be 2,000 to start, plus negative, I have 200 times 2 this time, so that's 400, so negative 400. So 2,000 plus negative 400 is going to be 1,600. Okay, now we can keep writing an expression and evaluating it, or we can notice the pattern in our problem. Okay, for every year we're subtracting 200, so it's decreasing by 200 each year. So we can just use that pattern to finish filling in the table as well. So 3 years would be 1,400. And after 4 years, it would be 1,200. Part B says, describe the change in the value of computer for each year. Now, I just mentioned that. We notice that it's decreasing by 200. So you could write that in words. Decreasing by 200. Or we could write this as an integer, negative 200. All right, remember that you can always rewind, pause, listen to it as many times as you need to make sure that you make sense of these concepts. And don't forget to try some on your own.